My mom was born in West Hartford, Connecticut, but not the part of West Hartford that sends campers to Manitou. She was the oldest of three sisters, raised under strict Orthodox traditions that discouraged frivolity and saddled women with diminished expectations. But Rita, Harriet, and Lois aspired for more and dreamed of richer lives. Rita escaped to Boston shortly after graduating high school. Her sisters soon followed. My mom was 22 when she consented to a blind date in January of 1964. Stanley brought his A game, taking her to the iconic General Glover house, where he tipped their way into the famed Essex room. He took charge, ordering a bottle of their finest wine and jumbo shrimp cocktails. Rita protested, claiming to be kosher. Stanley responded, "Well, I guess this date's over." According to my dad, Rita acquiesced and ate shrimp that night. Their second date was at China Sales, where my mom tasted her first spare ribs. He took her to shows and nightclubs, always taking that Henry Hill stroll to the best seats in the house. As Coach Stanley boasted to our Little League team during a pregame pep talk, I charmed her pants off. Just weeks after that initial date, he bought the ring and proposed at Lockover's. 1964, Stanley could walk into a jewelry store and walk out with a diamond 20 minutes later. 2021, Stanley visits 3 different markets to get the best deal on celery. Incredulously, they got engaged before either met the corresponding families. Where was the due diligence? Probably fortuitous. Stanley was spared Joe Fink and the frightening reminder of what middle-aged Rita might look like with an ill-fitting wig. Definitely fortuitous that Rita didn't witness Stanley torment and traumatize his young cousins and nephews who gathered at Nana's house every Sunday. They moved into a love nest on 56 Commonwealth Ave, right across from the Boston Common. Living downstairs were Joe and Gloria Arquez, who played Fred and Ethel to the Waldstein's Desi and Lucy comedy team. There were duck boat rides and picnics in the park. They went out for ice cream almost every night. Again, they met in January, were married in May. My seed was planted by the following February. Intent on raising a large family, Rita was pregnant with Wendy 9 months after my birth. Then something happened. I learned to walk. More troubling, I learned to pee while walking. Rita's Sergeant Schultz-like supervision was no match for this devious toddler. Rita sent Stanley in for surgery, which was okay by me, as I never wanted to share my beloved mommy with anyone. Few understood their mutual attraction. Rita was beautiful, kind, and empathetic. She possessed a childlike wonder and contagious optimism. She was non-judgmental and saw the good in everybody, including my father. Conversely, Stanley was pretty much the opposite. The naysayers failed to account for their Beauty and the Beast dynamic. She brought out his inner humanity, and he was hopelessly devoted to her. Stanley even taught his Apollonia to drive, an accomplishment unfathomable to Wendy and myself. Our driving lessons invariably ended with screaming and tears, but with his beloved Rita, Stanley could be nurturing and patient. Teaching Rita to drive rivals anything Ann Sullivan did for Helen Keller. Unfortunately, his tutelage with the TV remote and garage door opener fell on deaf ears. Rita never learned to pump gas. She never had to, as Stanley always made sure her tank was full. He regularly drove 20 minutes to Broward County so he could save 20 cents a gallon. But I'm digressing. They moved to Woburn in 1969, and Stanley bestowed Rita a team of au pairs who took the brunt of my abuse. Faced with suburban ennui, Rita embarked on a lifelong journey of harebrained obsessions and get-rich-quick schemes. Stanley was always there providing sarcastic encouragement. Stanley supported Rita's efforts to sell sunglasses, jewelry, vitamins, blue-green algae, as well as all those pyramid schemes. He acquiesced to her health food fads, the crystals, and the ever-expanding circle of healers, psychics, flakes, and lunatics. But it was a two-way street. Rita tolerated Stanley's toupee and his insistence on storing old grease and liquor bottles under the sink. She even remained faithful during Stanley's inexplicable 3-year Ascot phase. 20 years passed, but Stanley kept the marriage fresh and exciting. He drove her to the airport, claiming they were going to recreate their honeymoon with a weekend jaunt to Bermuda. Instead, he whisked her onto the Concorde for a 3-week European adventure with stops in London, Paris, Milan, Rome, and Nice. A few years later, he surprised her with an Asian tour, with layovers in Hong Kong, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. I like to think the abnormally high sex trafficking statistics at their chosen destinations were purely coincidental. By the late 90s, they were grandparents, splitting time between Cape Cod and Boca Raton. Stanley was semi-retired, but Rita was just hitting her stride. She became a nurse recruiter, filling hard-to-fill positions at hospitals across the hinterland. Rita was dumbfounded by the necessary technology, but she loved to talk and possessed a special talent for connecting with candidates. They built a successful business together. Stanley took care of all the administrative and IT functions. Rita made it rain. They had almost 4,000 square feet of living space at the Cape, but chose to share a small office. I guess they really hated being apart, even if they never admitted to that fact. 3 years ago, their madcap rom-com took a darkly poignant turn. Rita was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her decision to eschew traditional medicine brought tremendous strife to our family. Rita was the only one who didn't grasp the ramifications of this course of non-treatment. As much as Stanley disagreed with her decisions, he respected her right to choose and fiercely protected her from all criticism. Rita was always high maintenance. Cancer Rita was off the charts demanding. Stanley became her 24/7 caregiver, rarely leaving her side. This anti-hero's commitment and selfless dedication provide an unexpectedly touching end to their amazing love story. There are so many people I should thank right now, but I'll limit myself to a few. Our amazing caregivers, Cynthia, Mercy, Marie, and Tatiana, showered my mom with love and attention. Cynthia, my mom loved you like a daughter. You were all incredible. I can't thank you enough. Wendy, it's hard finding silver linings with an experience this horrible. But they are some. I've never felt closer to you and more thankful to have you as a sister. You've been here since getting vaccinated in March. You immediately took control and helped right the sinking ship. I am forever grateful for what you accomplished and what an incredible daughter and sister you are. I love you and look forward to our future together. Dad, I don't know where to begin. I would spend 4 hours with Rita and return home shell-shocked. You never took a break. How can someone so physically meek be so strong and resolute? I'm eternally grateful for what you sacrificed for our mom and for our family. Thank you for living so long. Your parents died young, and you were always upfront about your life expectancy. You purposely carried loads of life insurance. I'm grateful you got to witness the last 2 giant Super Bowls, the OJ trial, and all those YouTube videos of stupid people hurting themselves. I'm grateful that we got to watch PTI together and not Newsmax. I'm grateful that I get to hear you bitch about what a lousy investment those life insurance policies were. A wise man once said, a man provides, and he does it even when he's not appreciated or respected or even loved. He simply bears up and does it. Thank you for always being a man's man. That said, I hope you realize that I always appreciated, respected, and absolutely loved you. Even when my words may have indicated otherwise, I take comfort knowing you probably feel the same about me. After Rita started hospice, I made it a point to end each day by telling her how much I loved her, how proud I was of her, and how thankful I was to have been raised by such a loving and doting mom. There was nothing she wouldn't do for us, aside from cooking an appetizing meal or buying Twinkies. I have so many fond memories of our time together. It's hard to pick a favorite, but forced to choose, I would say it's Miami Beach. Me and Wendy curled up in your arms, and you reading us Casper the Friendly Ghost comics. Basking in your maternal glow, I never felt so safe, so contented, and so loved. Rest easy, my angel. I love you to the stars and back.